What's up guys, so we got another gameplay trailer for God of War 4. I'll be analyzing the trailer because even though it was short, there are some things in here that are worth mentioning. But before we get into it, I put out a poll asking for you guys what you thought about the God of War trailer. At this moment, we have 151 votes, 79% of you loved it, 1% of you didn't like it, and 20% of you just thought it was okay. Here are some of the comments in that poll, but anyways, let's get right into the video. I'd like to start this analysis out by looking at the environment, and I am shocked. It's insane how amazing this game looks in terms of graphics and lighting. It may just be me, but it seems that there are improvements compared to the last two trailers. This area seems to be inside a cave, as we can see the outside of the cave at the end of the trailer. Another thing I noticed, and I think this is somewhat of a big thing, is that there is a chest that looks to be like the same ones used in the original God of War games. Because there is no life or magic gauges on the screen, most likely this is a collectible. I also think it's a collectible because at the end of the trailer, the player doesn't explore and doesn't go to the chest, which means he's just punished for not exploring, which is a typical thing in God of War games. Another piece of the environment I like to talk about is the glowing item here on the table in front of the skeleton. With its glow, it almost looks like you can interact with it. It stands out of the environment just like how the exploding lamp on top of the cave does, indicating that you may be able to interact with it somehow. Whether it's used for upgrades, for a weapon, or anything like that, as soon as I know, I will let you guys know. Next, I'd like to move on to gameplay. First, I want to talk about the three properties of the axe that we've seen displayed in this trailer. First, it's ranged attacks. As Kratos jumps down, he immediately puts away the shield. Perhaps this is what activates the axe to have all these different properties when you put the shield away. He begins to charge his attack, and when he releases the attack, the axe uses a range attack that hits multiple enemies. The next property is that it has the ability to use a ground pound and smash the ground, and whatever enemy is in the radius seems to be damaged. And the final property that's shown is that it can be thrown to not only hurt enemies, but interact with the surrounding environment. Some other gameplay mechanics I thought I should mention is this critical hit moment. Atreus does have his own dedicated button to attack during battle. At times in the fight, he will bounce off enemies, prompting this red circle around the enemy. If you hit the enemy in time before the circle goes away, Kratos will land a highly damaging attack where it almost looks cinematic, slowing down for a moment before the enemy is flung, and in this case the enemy is flung into another enemy. So during combat, prepare to take advantage of the red circle button that appeared. The last thing I want to talk about is a very little thing but worth mentioning. As said in the past by developers, instead of Kratos focusing on a big group of enemies at once like the previous God of War games did, in this game Kratos will focus on 1 to 2 enemies at a time, and he will focus on the enemy depending on where the camera is looking. We can see this clearly as Kratos is rolling. The camera follows the enemy that is directly in front of Kratos as he begins to roll. This isn't an issue at all, and that's not why I'm mentioning it. It isn't an issue because Kratos has a lot of moves which hit the surrounding enemies. But that's going to be the end of this video. I know it was really short, but this was a really short trailer, but we did get a lot of gameplay in this trailer and I enjoyed analyzing it. If you're wondering about the Revenant we saw at the end of the trailer, I will make a whole video dedicated to analyzing and getting all the info on the Revenant, so definitely look out for that one. I appreciate you guys for watching, and if you're wondering what to watch next, check out the Norns video that's on your screen right now. It's a new enemy type that seems to be very similar to the Sisters of Fate in God of War 2. Or you can just hit up the God of War 4 playlist for all of my theories, analysis, and lore videos. Deuces, guys.